Noah Brown, often described as the genius of the Brown family, has long been one of the most intriguing figures among the Alaskan bush people. Viewers of the show watched him grow from a quiet, inventive young man into a loving husband and devoted father, creating a peaceful life with his wife, Rain, and their two little boys. For years, fans admired his creativity, his calm intelligence, and his ability to build almost anything from scratch. However, in 2025, that familiar image began to fade. What started as a small change soon unfolded into a deeply personal transformation that left fans shocked and questioning everything they thought they knew about him. Was this merely a passing phase, or a permanent shift in Noah's life? Those questions lingered as people began to search for answers about what truly happened to Noah Brown. In a quiet confession, Noah once shared, "I was able to find a rent house where I am now, and we have been separated for a year." That revelation marked the beginning of a new and uncertain chapter in his life. For years, Noah had been seen as the grounded, soft-spoken heart of the Alaskan bush people. He was the thinker of the group, the man who fixed tools, built gadgets, and used his intelligence to solve problems in the harsh wilderness. While his siblings were often the wild adventurers, Noah stood apart for his calm and methodical approach. So when fans began noticing a drastic transformation in his behavior and lifestyle, it was truly heartbreaking. By 2025, Noah's story had taken a turn that no one expected. Gone were the familiar scenes of him braving the wilderness or crafting new inventions under the Alaskan sky. Instead, his focus had shifted inward, to family, to himself, and perhaps to healing from hidden heartbreak. Few people knew that behind his quiet exterior, Noah was battling personal struggles that would ultimately reshape his life. Before this transformation, he had defined himself by three things: his family, his inventions, and his connection to nature. But what he faced in 2025 shook those foundations completely. Even his closest relatives were left wondering, what happened to the Noah who cared so deeply for everyone? Was he influenced by someone else, or was this truly his own choice? Despite the concerns from family members and longtime fans, Noah appeared undisturbed by the criticism. In one of his recent social media posts, he wrote, "It is okay to want to be happy." That simple sentence spoke volumes. It suggested that Noah had chosen to embrace his new path regardless of how others felt. He seemed to have found peace, perhaps not in the wilderness, but within himself. Yet many still wondered, what exactly changed? What decisions led him from being the devoted family man of the bush to what some describe as a stranger to his own home? The truth lies in two major turning points that completely redirected Noah's life. The first had to do with love and its painful unraveling. For years, Noah was celebrated as the first of the Brown siblings to get married, have children, and build a seemingly stable home. At the start of 2025, he was still known as the loyal husband of Rain, whose full name is Alicia, and the proud father of their two boys, Elijah and Adam. Their relationship once symbolized hope and family strength. But beneath that beautiful picture, cracks were beginning to form. Behind the cameras, Noah and Rain's marriage was struggling. There were moments of silence that lasted too long, frustrations that were never spoken aloud, and the exhaustion of daily responsibilities that weighed them down. Eventually, those unspoken tensions led to a heartbreaking decision. In January, the couple released a video together announcing, "We have decided that it is in our best interests to separate. We're going to take a break for a while." Soon after, Noah admitted that he had been asked to move out and was now living separately in a guest cabin. For fans, this news landed like a thunderclap. They had witnessed the evolution of Noah and Rain's love story from their first meeting to their wedding and the births of their children. To see it end so abruptly was deeply emotional. People began asking, what happened to the couple that once seemed unbreakable? What went wrong in what appeared to be a fairy tale love story? To truly understand, one must return to where it all began. Noah and Rain's story started in 2016, an encounter that seemed destined by fate. Noah, raised amid Alaska's untamed beauty, had always been surrounded by mountains, rivers, and the rugged rhythms of nature. Rain, whose full name was originally Ruth Alicia Merrill before she changed it to Rain Alicia, came from a more settled world. Yet she was drawn to the wild, curious, and open-hearted toward the life Noah lived. During one of her Alaskan explorations in Hoona, she crossed paths with Noah, and that meeting would forever change both their lives. Their bond grew quickly. What began as friendly companionship soon deepened into something more profound. They hiked together, shared stories under the open sky, and learned to adapt to each other's worlds. Rain's courage to embrace wilderness life impressed Noah, while her warmth and understanding grounded him. Despite the challenges, the cold nights, rustic living, and unpredictable weather, their relationship flourished. Fans started to notice the chemistry between them, even before they confirmed it. Their affection was unmistakable. A year later, in April 2017, Noah proposed to Rain during a scenic hike in Juneau. Under the sunset, surrounded by the beauty of Alaska's mountains and waterways, he presented her with a custom-made ring he designed himself. The moment was pure magic, a union of two souls who had found love in the most unlikely place. By August 15, 2018, 2 years after their first meeting, they exchanged vows in an intimate ceremony in Idaho with about 25 close friends and family members. Noah's father, Billy Brown, stood proudly as his best man, while his mother, Amy, gifted Rain a blue stone ring tucked into her bouquet, a heartfelt something blue. After their wedding, the couple began building their future together. Noah, ever the craftsman, constructed cradles and furniture for their soon-to-be family, while Rain prepared the nursery with care. Their joy grew when they announced they were expecting their first child. In February 2019, their son Elijah Connor Brown, affectionately called Eli, was born, bringing immense happiness and new responsibilities. Life in the wilderness as new parents wasn't easy, but the laughter and shared wonder made it worthwhile. Their love story continued to bloom when their second son, Adam Bishop Brown, arrived in October 2021. With 2 young children, their days were filled with noise, love, and the beautiful chaos of family life. Together they taught their boys to appreciate nature, to dance in the rain, play in the snow, and cherish every moment. For a while they appeared to be the perfect family. But as time passed, life's pressures began to take their toll. The death of Noah's father, Billy Brown, in 2021 hit the family hard. Amy's long-term health struggles and the burden of maintaining their legacy added emotional strain. Meanwhile, the demands of filming Alaskan bush people, along with constant public attention and fan expectations, intensified the pressure on their marriage. Every argument, every rumor, every social media comment added fuel to the fire. Then, in 2024, another storm hit the family. Noah and his wife became entangled in a serious dispute involving Noah's sister, Raindrop Brown. They accused her of threats, emotional distress, and substance issues, filing for a protective order which was later denied for lack of evidence. Though the matter was legally dismissed, the emotional toll lingered. Family divisions deepened, and stress within Noah and Rain's marriage worsened. All these external pressures, grief, fame, family conflict, and the endless scrutiny of public life, combined with private frustrations, eventually drove the couple apart. What began as a love story rooted in adventure and faith in each other slowly transformed into a painful lesson about change, communication, and self-discovery. Today, Noah Brown stands at a crossroads. His journey has taken him from being the inventive heart of Alaska's wilderness to a man redefining what happiness means. Whether fans view this transformation as growth or loss, one thing remains certain. Noah's story continues to unfold, as unpredictable and deeply human as the wild landscapes that shaped him. Rain often shared her frustrations about relying on Noah for help or waiting for him to finish tasks. For someone like Noah, raised in the wilderness and used to independence, this dependence was difficult to navigate. Over time, fans began to notice subtle hints of tension between them. Noah started posting photos and videos away from the main house, while Rain appeared quieter, more distant, and emotionally reserved. The warmth and togetherness that once defined their relationship seemed to fade, replaced by visible emotional and physical distance. Though they continued co-parenting, the closeness they once shared was no longer as strong. Rain even admitted that solitude brought her relief, saying it felt refreshing not to have to ask Noah for help or wait on him constantly. Her words hinted at underlying strain, emotional fatigue, and years of unspoken disappointment. At one point, the couple openly discussed seeking counseling, hoping professional guidance might help them reconnect. This revealed that their love, while still present, needed more than just emotion. It required consistent effort and mutual communication. Yet even a desire for counseling doesn't always fix what's broken. Healing demands trust, patience, and equal commitment from both sides, and by that stage, everything seemed to be working against them. By late January 2025, the inevitable became public. On January 28th, Noah and Rain uploaded a solemn video to TikTok, later reposting it to Instagram on January 31st. In the clip, they sat side by side looking heartbroken. Fans immediately sensed something serious was coming. When the caption, "We're separating," appeared, it shattered the hearts of viewers who had followed their journey for years. Speaking directly to fans, Noah explained that they wanted people to hear the news from them, not through rumors. He revealed that they had decided to separate, and that he had already moved out at Rain's request, living in their guest cabin. Rain nodded silently beside him, confirming his words. Noah added that he still had weekend custody of their sons, Eli, around 5 years old, and Adam, about 3. He said he could visit the main house anytime as long as he messaged first. Both emphasized that they wanted to remain civil and prioritize their children's emotional well-being. Rain admitted she sometimes felt more at peace alone, without having to depend on Noah to handle things. Her calm but distant tone contrasted sharply with Noah's visible sadness. His voice trembled and tears filled his eyes. When he mentioned that he'd keep fans updated, Rain cut in firmly, saying she wanted privacy and would no longer share personal updates online. Noah respected her request, but made it clear he was still open to counseling, hoping they could find understanding. This moment marked the beginning of his transformation. Moving into the guest cabin forced him into isolation, from hearing his children's laughter every morning to spending nights in silence, surrounded only by nature. Though both tried to handle the separation with maturity, it was obvious that the bond between them had fractured deeply. They apologized to fans for any confusion and dismissed rumors that Noah had abandoned his family. Still, Rain disliked Noah's continued presence online, especially when he spoke about their situation. She urged him to stop posting about the separation and focus on privacy for their children's sake. While Noah agreed to keep details private, he couldn't fully stop expressing his emotions. His videos often carried hashtags like heartbroken, sadness, and new beginning. This contrast between Rain's desire for silence and Noah's openness stirred public debate. Was it genuine pain or a ploy for sympathy? But what came next proved it was very real. Their separation not only ended their marriage, but also disrupted their children's world. Eli and Adam, still so young, had to adjust to split custody and shifting routines, a painful new normal for kids who had once known only togetherness. Unfortunately, the situation grew even harder when Noah made a decision that shocked fans. Longing for peace, he decided to return to Alaska, the wilderness where he had grown up. The separation had left a void in his heart, a longing for the life he knew before Rain. Noah Brown, born and raised partly in the Alaskan wild, had always felt a deep connection to nature. But when his mother, Ami Brown, was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2017, the family left Alaska to ensure she could receive medical care. They first settled in California, then moved to Washington State, where they built their North Star Ranch. Life in Washington was meant to balance comfort and the off-grid lifestyle they loved. However, tragedy struck again in 2020 when a wildfire, known as the Palmer Fire, destroyed much of their property. It was a devastating loss that forced Noah and Rain to rent houses off the ranch to give their young children stability. Yet, even after rebuilding, Noah never stopped dreaming of Alaska. He often spoke about buying an island there, wanting to raise his children surrounded by nature just as he had been. In late 2022, he finally made that dream a reality, purchasing an island once admired by his father, Billy Brown. He planned to move there with his family. But life in Washington was easier for schooling, health care, and rebuilding after the fire. His goal was to prepare the Alaskan property gradually and move there when things stabilized. Sadly, after the marital separation, those plans changed. Feeling emotionally broken, Noah decided to return to Alaska alone to rebuild his spirit. When he announced the move in early 2025, just after the breakup, many fans misunderstood. They thought he was abandoning his children. The criticism grew so intense that Noah publicly clarified his intentions in April 2025. In an emotional video, he reassured everyone, saying, "My boys come first. I'm not moving them to Alaska yet because the place isn't ready." He explained that the property lacked proper heating and safety measures for young kids. His goal was to spend the summer fixing the island so that one day his sons could live there safely. Fans appreciated his honesty. It showed that even while heartbroken, he remained a devoted father. However, the journey back to Alaska was not easy. Money was tight, and transporting supplies to the island was costly. In July 2025, Noah admitted progress was slower than expected, but insisted he wouldn't give up. Later that summer, he quietly posted 3 simple words: "Back in Haines." For those who knew his story, those words meant everything. He had made it home. From that point, Noah focused on rebuilding, not just the land, but himself. Though he remained separated from Rain, he continued to visit his children and mentioned them often in his posts, calling them his reason for perseverance. Alaska became his place of healing, a symbolic return to his roots. He described the experience as a journey of self-rediscovery, learning to let go of pain and accept change. By September 2025, Noah had embraced his solitude fully. Though his marriage with Rain seemed beyond repair, he didn't lose sight of what truly mattered: his family, his values, and the simple life his father had taught him to love. He admitted that Alaska reminded him of who he was before fame, heartbreak, and responsibility changed him. It wasn't a glamorous transformation, but a quiet, powerful one. As Noah himself said, it takes strength to walk into the wilderness of your own brokenness and keep going. Loyal fans continued to support him, offering kind words and encouragement. Many still hoped he might one day reconcile with Rain, but Noah seemed to have accepted his path. His time in Alaska became less about escape and more about renewal, a man stripped of everything, finding peace in the wild once again. For Noah Brown, the wilderness wasn't just a place, it was a reflection of his soul. Every gust of wind, every rustling leaf, and every cold Alaskan dawn reminded him that healing doesn't come easily. It takes patience, humility, and an open heart. His days in Haines became quieter, marked by hard work and introspection. He spent hours repairing the small cabin, gathering supplies, and filming moments of reflection for his followers. Each video carried the tone of a man rediscovering who he truly was beneath all the pain. The man who once lived surrounded by chaos and noise was now learning the beauty of stillness. Through his posts, fans began to see a different Noah, not just the reality star, but a man stripped down to his essence. His captions spoke of endurance, gratitude, and rediscovery. He often mentioned his father, Billy Brown, drawing strength from the memory of a man who had taught him the values of courage, family, and simplicity. Many viewers felt that Noah's return to Alaska was also his way of reconnecting with his late father's spirit, honoring his legacy by returning to the life that had once defined their family. Yet, behind that strength, fans could still sense sadness. Noah often spoke softly about missing his sons, describing the silence of the nights as both peaceful and painful. He said their laughter echoed in his mind as he worked on the island, proof that even in distance, his love for them remained the center of his life. He promised that one day when the island was ready, they would join him, and they would once again live as a family surrounded by nature. Rain, on the other hand, chose to stay away from public attention. She rarely posted on social media, and when she did, her messages were brief and cautious. Some fans interpreted her silence as indifference, while others saw it as a woman's attempt to heal privately, away from judgment. Insiders close to the family hinted that Rain was focusing entirely on the children, trying to maintain a sense of stability in Washington, while Noah pursued his personal recovery up north. The emotional distance between them was no longer just physical, it had become a bridge too long to cross. By the end of 2025, Noah's journey had transformed into something much larger than just a move. It became a story of loss, growth, and survival, one that mirrored the raw power of the Alaskan wilderness itself. He admitted that being alone had forced him to face truths he once ignored. He learned that healing doesn't always mean returning to what once was. It sometimes means finding new meaning in what remains. For Noah, Alaska wasn't an escape. It was a return to authenticity. His fans often commented words of encouragement, telling him to stay strong, to keep going, and to remember that love can take many forms. Some still held out hope that he and Rain might find their way back to each other, while others admired his courage to stand on his own. Noah never responded to speculation about reconciliation. Instead, he focused on gratitude, thanking fans for their kindness and reminding them that his children were the brightest light in his life. In one of his most emotional posts toward the year's end, Noah wrote, "Sometimes you have to lose everything you thought you needed to rediscover what truly matters." That sentence struck deep with fans who had followed him for years.